Hello, boys and girls. It's Miss S here, and today we are going to read a story together. The story we are going to read is called The Name Jar. The Name Jar. I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, and I want to hear you say the name jar. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Very good. The title of the story we will read today is The Name Jar. But before we get started, I want to share what the lesson will be about today. So today, if you can look at my screen, today we are going to be able to talk about the story, what happens in the story, and how Yoonhae, who is our main character, feels from the beginning of the story, all the way to the end. Okay? From the beginning to the end. We are also going to learn 2 new words today. 2 new words. And we're going to be able to act them out. You are going to be able to show Miss S what these words look like. Okay, those 2 words are nervous and excited. And then lastly, we, all of us, are going to be able to say what our name is and use a complete sentence. So I have the sentence frame here. My name is blank. And in the blank, you are going to put your name. So my name is Miss S. Okay, we have a lot to do today. So let's get started. The name jar. Through the school bus window, Yoonhae looked out at the strange buildings and houses on the way to her new school. It was her first day, and she was both nervous and excited. Nervous and excited are the 2 words we are going to learn. I have a question. Who knows what nervous is? Nervous. Nervous might look like this. That's nervous. When you're unsure, you might be a little nervous. And excited. Excited. Let me see. Who knows what excited is? Show me. Yes, excited is, oh, you are so happy. You might be jumping up and down. You are excited. So nervous, excited. Very good. So she was nervous and excited. And on your first day of school, maybe you were new to our school, or maybe you were a kindergartner and you were brand new to school. You might have felt nervous and excited. That's okay. She was nervous and excited. She fingered the little block of wood in her pocket and remembered leaving her grandmother at the airport in Korea. Her grandmother had wiped away Yoonhae's tears and handed her an ink pad and a small red satin pouch. Your name is inside, she said. My name? Yoonhae had wondered. Again, she took out the red pouch to look at the wooden block with her name carved in it. As she ran her fingers along the grooves and ridges of the Korean characters, She pictured her grandmother's smile. Is that thing for show and tell? A boy asked Yoonhae, surprising her. Yoonhae looked up as more kids leaned over. No, it's mine, Yoonhae answered, quickly putting the pouch back in her pocket. Are you new here? What's your name? A girl asked. Yoonhae, said Yoonhae. Yoonhae? The girl asked, scrunching up her face. Yoonhae, some kids chanted. No, Yoonhae corrected. It's spelled Unhei. It's pronounced Yoonhae. Oh, it's you-hey, the boy said, like you, hey. What about hey you? Just then the bus pulled up to the school and the doors opened. Yoonhae hurried to get off. You-hey, bye-bye, the kids yelled. As she left, Yoonhae felt herself blush. It means your face gets a little flushed and red. So here's my first question. This is the beginning of the story. How do we think she feels on the bus when the kids are not saying her name right? They're not saying it correctly. Think. And then I want you to show me with your face. How do we think she feels? She probably feels sad. That's right. I would feel sad if someone was pronouncing my name or saying my name wrong. Let's keep reading. Yoonhae stood in the doorway of her new and noisy classroom. She was relieved that the kids on the bus had gone to other rooms, but her face still felt red. Aren't you going in? Asked a curly-haired boy with lots of dots on his face. You're the new girl, right? He asked cheerfully. Yoonhae nodded, and before she could walk away, the boy took her hand and pulled her through the door. Here's the new girl, he announced so loudly that the teacher, Mr. Cockatoo, almost dropped his glasses. Mr. Cockatoo thanked him and greeted Yoonhae. Please welcome our newest student, he said to the class. She and her family just arrived from Korea last week. Yoonhae smiled broadly and tried not to show her nervousness. Remember the word nervous. What's your name? Someone shouted. Yoonhae pictured the kids on the bus. I haven't picked one yet, she told the class, but I'll let you know by next week. As Mr. Cockatoo showed her to her desk, she felt many round, curious eyes on her. Why doesn't she have a name? She heard someone whisper. Maybe she robbed a bank in Korea and needs a new identity, a boy replied. On the bus home, nobody teased her, but Yoonhae kept thinking about her name. How was school, Yoonhae? Her mother asked when she walked in. Did you understand the teacher? Yoonhae simply nodded. She unpacked her school bag and set the red pouch by a photograph of her grandma. I'm glad you are learning English well, her mother said. You must study hard, behave nicely, and get good grades to show that you're a good Korean. I will, replied Yoonhae. But I think I would like my own American name, she said quickly. She looked up and with her surprise, why? Yoonhae is a beautiful name. Your grandma and I went to a name master for it. But it's so hard to pronounce, Yoonhae complained. I don't want to be different from all of the American kids. You are different, Yoonhae, her mother said. That's a good thing. Yoonhae just wrinkled her nose. Let me see you wrinkle your nose. Oh, very good. Later that day, Yoonhae and her mother went to the grocery store. They went grocery shopping in their new neighborhood. They passed Faldi's Falafel, Tony's Pizza, and Dot's Deli. A big graffiti-painted garbage truck roared like a lion as it took down the street. Nothing sounded or looked familiar until they got to Kim's Market. The sign was in both English and Korean. So they have English, which we have letters. And if you can see here, this is in Korean. They don't have letters. We call them characters. So in some other languages, they don't have letters. They write with characters. Her mother picked up cabbage to make kimchi, Korean-style spicy pickled cabbage, and other vegetables and meat. She also found some seaweed, Yoonhae's favorite for soup. It made her smile. Just because we've moved to America, her mother said, doesn't mean we stop eating Korean food. At the checkout counter, a friendly man smiled at Yoonhae. Helping your mother with the shopping, he asked. Yoonhae nodded. I'm Mr. Kim, he said, and what is your name? Yoonhae, she answered. Ah, what a beautiful name, he said. Doesn't it mean grace? Yoonhae nodded again. My mother and grandmother went to a name master for it, she told him. A graceful name for a graceful girl, Mr. Kim said as he put their groceries into bags. Welcome to the neighborhood, Yoonhae. That evening, Yoonhae stood in front of the bathroom mirror. Hi, my name is Amanda, she said cheerfully. She wrinkled her nose. Hi, my name is Laura. Maybe not. Her smile turned down. Nothing sounded right. Nothing felt right. I don't think American kids will like me, she worried as she began to brush her teeth. Hi, my name is Susie, she said in the mirror with her mouth full of toothpaste. The next morning when Yoonhae arrived at school, she found a glass jar on her desk with some pieces of paper in it. Yoonhae took it out and read it aloud. One said, Daisy. That's my baby sister's nickname, but she said you can use it if you want, said Cindy, who sat next to her. Yoonhae took out the rest of the paper. Tamala, she read. I got it from a storybook, said Nate. She was smart and brave. Yoonhae nodded and folded another piece. Wednesday. Yeah, you came here on Wednesday, said Ralph. Thank you for your help. A smile spread over Yoonhae's face. Ralph quickly said, we'll put more names in. You can pick which one you like or pick them all and you'll have the longest name in history. At 3 o'clock, the bell rang for the end of the school day. Yoonhae looked out the window and saw it was sprinkling. It's the same rain, she thought, but in a different place. She watched the other kids leaving in groups. Hey, a familiar voice called out to her. Yoonhae turned around to see the curly-haired boy again. I'm Joey, he said, and you? Don't you have any name? Yoonhae thought for a moment. Well, I can show you, she said, and she took out the small red pouch. She pressed the wooden block on the ink pad and then stamped it on a piece of paper. This is my name stamp, she said. My grandma gave it to me. In Korea, I can use it as a signature when I open a bank account or write a letter. And whenever I miss my grandma, I use it to fill a piece of paper. Want to try it? She offered the stamp to Joey, and he carefully inked the stamp and pressed it hard on the paper. The red characters gleamed against the whiteness. Wow, that's beautiful, Joey said. Can I keep the paper? Sure, Yoonhae said, and then the two of them shared her umbrella as they walked to the school bus. So again, you can see these are called characters. This is her name written or in symbols in Korean. Every day the jar got fuller with more names, and Eunhye read them all. She found a few names she liked. Miranda, Stella, Avery. They sounded interesting. I hope you choose the name I put in, Marco told her at snack time. I've put in 3 more, said Ralph. Madison, Park, and Lex. They're my favorite street names. Maybe you should just close your eyes and draw a name, Rosie suggested. Ralph frowned. That's silly. What if she doesn't like the name she draws? Well, we didn't get to choose our names when we were born, did we? Rosie argued. Everyone thought about this. When Eunhye got home from school that day, her little brother ran to give her a letter. It was from her grandma. She opened it quickly. It said, "To my Eunhye, I hope you're enjoying your new school and new friends. Be sure to help your mother and your little brother. Here the moon is up, but there the sun is up. No matter how far apart we are, and no matter how different America is from Korea, you'll always be my Eunhye. Your grandmom forever." Eunhye took out her wooden stamp and filled a paper with it. She thought for a long time in front of the bathroom mirror. I want you all to think about, what do you think she is thinking about standing in front of the mirror? Think about it. She may be thinking about her name. She may be thinking about the name jar that her classmates have for her. Maybe she likes the name. Maybe she's really thinking about it. On Saturday, Eunhye walked to Mr. Kim's store. Mr. Kim was helping a customer, but he looked up and greeted her. Hi, Eunhye. Hello, Mr. Kim, Eunhye replied. She felt as if she were back in her old neighborhood in Korea. Hey, said the customer, turning around. It was Joey. Your name is Eunhye? He asked her with his eyes open wide. Eunhye looked quickly at Mr. Kim, then turned to Joey. She nodded slowly. Yes, it's pronounced Eunhye. And it means grace, Mr. Kim added. Eunhye, Joey said slowly, and this time perfectly. It made Eunhye smile. I'll have it ready for you tomorrow, said Mr. Kim to Joey. Thank you, Mr. Kim. See you Monday, Eunhye, Joey said to her. He left before she could ask him why he was at the store. On Monday, Eunhye came to class early to look at the names one last time, but the jar wasn't on her desk. Instead, there was just a single piece of paper with a name on it. Eunhye slipped it in her pocket. Where's your name jar? Ralph asked as soon as he saw it was gone. I don't know, Eunhye said. It wasn't on Mr. Cockatoos's desk or on any other desk, and it wasn't on the counters or any of the shelves. As other kids arrived, they helped look. Soon Mr. Cockatoos came in and Ralph shouted at him. The name jar is gone! The name jar with all the names on it! Gone, Mr. Cockatoos replied. With a look of concern, he asked, Eunhye, did you get a chance to read all the names? Eunhye nodded. She took a breath. I'm ready to introduce myself, she said. Eunhye wrote her name in both English and Korean on the chalkboard. I liked the beautiful names and funny names you thought of for me, she told the class, but I realized that I liked my name the best, so I chose it again. Korean names mean something, Eunhye said. Eunhye means grace. Grace, grace, Eunhye, shouted Ralph. Everyone tried to say it. Eunhye, Eunhye. Eunhye said her name again slowly and clearly. Soon the kids began to say it even better, even Mr. Cockatoos. They applauded Eunhye's choice. I was named after a flower, Rosie whispered to Eunhye. Lots of American names have meanings too. Mr. Cockatoo reminded everyone. When the class was dismissed, Yoonhae heard her new friends say goodbye. Bye, Yoonhae. See you tomorrow. Goodbye, Yoonhae. Yoonhae said goodbye and looked around for Joey, but he was already gone. So she wrote on the board for everybody, she wrote her name Yoonhae in English with letters right here, and then she wrote with the characters below what it looks like in Korean. Yoonhae, Yoonhae, come downstairs, Mother called up to Yoonhae. Your friend is here. Yoonhae rushed down to see who she meant. There stood Joey, and in his arms was the name jar. Where did you find it? Asked Yoonhae breathlessly. Joey looked embarrassed. Well, I took it, but only because I wanted to keep your own name. I wanted you to keep your own name. And you did. He reached in and pulled out the names. Do you want to keep them? He asked. Thank you. I'll keep them as a souvenir, Yoonhae said happily. Then she pulled out the piece of paper from her pocket. Do you want this back? Joey grinned. You can keep it. I'll return the name jar to the class. Maybe you could put some Korean nicknames in there. Names with good meanings. I could do that, agreed Yoonhae. I've already got a Korean nickname, Joey said. Mr. Kim helped me choose it. Carefully, he pulled a small silver felt pouch from his pocket. Then he took out a dark wooden stamp with beautiful Korean characters carved next sharply into it. He pressed it on the ink pad and then on the piece of paper next to her name. Chinkyu, read Yoonhae. That means friend. Chinkyu, read Yoonhae, and Chinkyu smiled back. So this is the word friend using the symbols in Korean. And that was the story, The Name Jar. And as I told you before, we are going to have our own name jar. So let's take a look at what we're going to do. So that was The Name Jar, the story we read. And I want to go back to our first screen because I want to see if somebody can tell me how she felt at the beginning of the story and then how she felt at the end. So if we remember and we open to the first page, she's going to a new school. Here's the picture. Think, how did she feel? How did she feel? I'm looking. You can show me. Oh, I'm seeing two things. I'm seeing this and this. She felt nervous and excited. So let's practice. She felt nervous. She felt excited. Awesome job. At the beginning, she was nervous and excited. Then she was sad when the kids couldn't pronounce her name. And at the end of the story, she decided to keep her name. And let's look at this picture. She's here with her new friend. Look at her face. Who can tell me how she felt at the end of the story? We are going to say it in a complete sentence. She felt blank. I'm looking. Who has an answer? All right, I'm going to call on you. If you said she felt happy, you are correct. Very good. And we acted out the words excited and nervous. So if you can try to use those two words this week to mom, dad, someone at home, when you're really happy, you're excited. So tell them that you're excited about something. And if you are feeling nervous or a little unsure, use that in a sentence and tell someone. Okay, these are two big words, but I know you're gonna do perfect with them. And then lastly, I wanted to make sure that we could all state our name. And we are going to use a sentence frame. My name is Blake. So I want every one of you to practice. My name is blank. So there are 4 words in that sentence. This week, please practice with somebody at home. You are going to always practice a full, complete sentence. My name is... Stop! So we are going to practice our name this week, saying it in a complete sentence. My name is blank. So if your teacher or your mom or a new friend says, "What is your name?" don't just say your name. You are going to say, "My name is blank." Okay? Very good. And parents at home, if you really want to extend this activity, we always love when we interact with our students and we do something with it. Here's the first one you can do. You can write your name on a piece of paper like I did. I wrote Miss S in your nicest, neatest handwriting, kiddos. Okay, you can take a colored pencil, a crayon, write your name as neat as you can. And if you want to draw some pictures about things that you like. So Miss S has a sun because I love being outside in the sun. I have music notes because I love to sing and I love to dance. I love music. I tried to draw an airplane because I love to travel, meet new people, and I love to write. So I have a journal with lots of words on it. So if you want to go ahead and make yours, you can write your name, draw some pictures, and if you can have mom or dad take a picture with their phone, and you can go ahead and email it to me right here at my school email address. Okay, I will print them out and I will put them all in our special name jar that I made for us. Okay, and I will put together a little video of who did some extra practice and what your pictures look like. Okay, I'll print them out, I'll put them in the jar, and then if you want to, ask your parent or ask someone at home what your name means and maybe why they chose that name for you. Because at the end of this, every one of you have a beautiful name. Maybe it's harder to pronounce than others, but it is unique, and that makes you unique. And we want to also make sure that we are all saying your name correctly because it is so important. So I hope you all enjoyed today's lesson, the name jar. Okay, I hope that we can fill our own name jar. So go ahead, if mom, dad, someone at home says it's okay, write your name for me, draw some pictures, and have them take a picture of it and send it to my email. And I can't wait to look at them. And we'll put them in our class name jar, okay? And I hope you all have a great week. I hope that you had fun, and I hope you remember how special and unique you all are, and what a great year we are all going to have together. I will see you next time. Bye.